Hello and welcome to Sleepsmyth, your peaceful place to unwind, dream, and drift gently into sleep. Before we start our story tonight, let me help you settle in with a simple, calming breath like a gentle lullaby for your body and mind. So, find a cozy spot, maybe snuggle under your blanket, and softly close your eyes. Now, breathing quietly through your nose for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath softly for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now, slowly exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds, letting all the tension melt away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do that again. Nice and easy. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One last time, just like a soft whisper, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Feel your body getting lighter, your mind quiet, as if you're being tucked gently into a calm, warm bed. Thank you for sharing this moment with Sleepsmyth. Now, relax completely and let the story carry you into a peaceful, restful sleep. Let's begin.
Above the world where nights stretch wide and the air hums with suspended seconds, the cosmos breathes in long measured pulses. Stars shimmer like liquid memory, trails of light that remember everything and forget nothing. Time moves here as both river and spiral, winding through realms seen and unseen. In this expanse dwell the keepers of time, ancient watchers whose rhythms shape the rise and fall of suns, moons, and the cycles of all things. Before the first breath of dawn or the slow turn of stars, the universe stirred in quiet rhythm. Time flowed like a hidden river, unseen yet shaping the course of all things, each pulse a note in the symphony of existence. Celestial gates opened and closed in patterns older than thought, shadows and light chasing one another across the sky, marking moments that would never repeat. Every orbit, every shimmer, every fleeting alignment was a pulse of eternity, a subtle reminder that some events are rare, some convergences once in a lifetime. From the deep cosmic ocean, a serpent surged, its hunger cleaving the sky, giving rise to the eclipses that mark the cadence of eternity. Rahu and Ketu, halves of a single being, chase the sun and moon across the heavens. Each swallow, each release, a silent metronome for the pulse of the world. Elsewhere, 12 creatures trace their paths across the night sky. Their steps carve the Zodiac, weaving mortal lives into the eternal wheel of months and seasons. Each sign a marker of fate, each constellation a note in the endless song of time. And above quiet rivers, a star awakens. Serpent rises at dawn, her shimmer a herald of growth, renewal, and hidden patterns. The Heliacal Rising of Sirius stirs the heavens and the earth alike, threading the celestial pulse into the cycles of life. Step into the currents of infinity. Drift along ribbons of silver light, through shadow and glow. Witness the dance of devourer and chaste, of beasts and stars, of secret light waking to mark the rhythm of creation. The keepers of time move unseen, their story written across eclipses, zodiac signs, and celestial risings. And in their wake, the universe exhales, breathing dreams into the spaces between night and day. Here, in this fragile hush of light and shadow, listen. For time is not silent, and the cosmos is alive with stories that will echo across every lifetime. When the serpent devoured the sun. The birth of the eclipse. Before the counting of time, when gods and demons churned the cosmic sea, a serpent rose from the depths to taste eternity. And from his hunger, the heavens learned to darken and shine anew. Before dawn had a name, before there were suns to rise or moons to fade, there was only the ocean, still and vast, milk-white and endless, a silence so deep it did not yet know itself. No wind stirred its surface, no star dared be born above it. It was the breath held between creation and thought, waiting for something or someone to awaken it. Ages passed uncounted, for time had not yet learned to move. Then ripples began to bloom like the first thoughts of a dream. Light flickered beneath the surface, trembling with purpose, and from that luminous sea rose the Devas, beings woven from brilliance, guardians of harmony yet touched by weariness. They had lived through endless cycles of rise and fall, victory and decay. Even divinity fades when existence has no end. From the darker depths emerged the Asuras, children of the same cosmic tide but cast in heavier hue. Their strength was mighty, their hunger sharper. They looked upon the Devas not as brothers but as rivals. Across the sea they gazed at one another, radiant and shadowed, each reflecting what the other wished to escape. At last, the Devas spoke of despair, life that ended even for gods, of power that waned like moonlight before dawn. The Asuras answered with their lament, strength unending yet joyless, victories turned hollow. Creation had given none its peace. Then from the horizon came a voice, calm, resonant, unending. Vishnu, the preserver, whose presence had always been but never intruded. His gaze rested upon gods and demons alike, his words rippling through the sea like wind awakening the surface. In the heart of this ocean sleeps the secret of what you seek, the nectar of Amrita, the drink of immortality. Stir these waters together, and you may draw it forth. But beware, the ocean gives nothing freely, and what you awaken may shape all things to come. The Devas and Asuras turned toward the endless water, their hearts burning with new purpose. Immortality shimmered before them like a distant reflection, close enough to believe in, yet perilous to reach. Desire, once born, cannot return to stillness. They sought the tools for the impossible task. Vishnu's gaze lifted toward Mount Mandara, whose roots touched unseen realms beneath the sea. "This shall be your churning rod," he declared. To the serpent Vasuki, coiled in the depths, Vishnu called, "You shall be the cord that binds gods and demons. With your strength, the sea shall move." Vasuki bowed, lightning flickering behind his eyes. Around the mountain he wound his vast body, scales gleaming with faint light. The Devas took hold of his tail, the Asuras his head, each side straining with pride and distrust. For a heartbeat, all creation stood still, gods and demons, mountain and serpent, sea and sky, poised at the edge of motion. Then together they pulled. The ocean shuddered, its calm shattered into thunder and foam. The mountain groaned beneath their grasp, and the first winds rose to chase the spray. Stars spilled like sparks, the air filled with the scent of new creation. Thus began the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the cosmic ocean. The stillness before time was broken. The universe drew its first breath, and within it destiny stirred, a serpent yet to hunger, a sun yet to be swallowed, and a story that would never end. Fire beneath the waves. The mountain groaned as the gods and demons pulled upon the serpent's coils, one side, then the other, each heave echoing through the young universe like a heartbeat finding rhythm. The sea, once still, now surged with fury and wonder. White foam rose like clouds, the depths burning with strange light. The churning of the ocean had begun. The Devas gripped Vasuki's tail, radiant yet strained. The Asuras held fast to his head, pride unwilling to yield. The serpent's scales glinted like molten bronze. Each motion sent tremors through creation. Sparks danced across the waves as mountain met sea and sea met sky. The pull became rhythm, the rhythm became storm. The storm became creation's song. The mountain rose and sank, churning the waters into gold and sapphire. The sea breathed, thundered, lived, and in that wild struggle, the universe learned motion. Vishnu watched from above, calm as the stars. He saw that each side's strength was needed, light and darkness, harmony and chaos. Only together could the ocean yield its secrets. His calm spread like invisible fire, guiding the motion, keeping balance where fury threatened to tear the world apart. As the churning deepened, treasures began to rise from the waves. A soft glow bloomed first, the moon pale and new, lifting into the heavens on a ribbon of silver mist. Then Kamadhenu, the celestial cow, whose milk would bless gods and mortals alike. After her came riches and jewels, forms of light and power, each born from the turning sea. The Asuras shouted in triumph, greed renewed with every gift. The Devas labored on, patient and weary, until from the foam rose Lakshmi, goddess of beauty and fortune. She stepped upon a lotus that blossomed from the waves, her radiance softening even demons. Harmony followed her gaze. For a moment, the world seemed to sigh with peace. But peace is fragile when desire drives creation. The serpent's breath grew hot, his body burning from the endless strain. From his mouth spilled a dark vapor, thick and venomous, curling like smoke from an unseen fire. The waves blackened, stars dimmed, even the gods recoiled. This was Hala Hala, the poison of unmaking, potent enough to unravel existence itself. The Devas cried to Vishnu, yet even he stood silent. Then from beyond the clouds, a figure descended, vast as the mountain Tranquil. Shiva, the great ascetic, had opened his eyes. Without hesitation, he gathered the venom into his palms. The ocean quaked beneath his touch. He drank it, every drop, every flame of darkness, swallowing ruin to preserve the newborn world. His throat burned, stained the color of twilight. Thus he became Neelkantha, the blue-throated one. Silence followed. The waves eased. The stars flickered back to life. Vasuki's trembling slowed. The Devas bowed. The Asuras, though proud, lowered their eyes. Shiva returned to stillness, leaving balance behind. Vishnu's voice rose once more, soft but firm. Continue. The ocean is not yet done revealing its heart. So the churning began anew. Vasuki coiled tighter. The mountain turned faster. The sea glowed brighter. Flame and water twined. Fury and grace, creation and ruin, until from the heart of the ocean a golden shimmer rose. Faint at first, then growing, pulsing like a heartbeat beneath the surface. Every god felt it, every demon sensed it. The nectar of eternity was near. Nectar at the edge of heaven. At last, the roaring sea began to calm. The mountains slowed, and from the foaming depths rose a light radiant enough to breathe golden, trembling like dawn caught in water. Every wave bowed toward it, every wind stilled. The Devas and Asuras, arms weary and eyes burning, watched as the treasure of eternity emerged. It came in the hands of Dhanvantari, the celestial physician, tall, serene, woven from light. In his grasp, a golden vessel pulsed with Amrita, the nectar of immortality, glowing with hues no mortal eye could name. Even the heavens seemed to lean closer. The Asuras murmured first, eager, restless. Their eyes gleamed with hunger for dominion. It was our strength that churned the sea, our fury that brought forth the nectar. But the Devas answered softly, it was balance, not greed, not pride. The waves shuddered with their discord. To preserve peace, Vishnu appeared once more, not as the preserver the gods knew, but as Mohini the enchantress, flawless, her beauty silencing even thought. Her eyes held the calm of still water, her smile the promise of dawn. All hearts turned toward her. She stepped upon the trembling sea, waves parting beneath her feet. The nectar must be shared, she said, voice smooth as pre-storm breeze. One by one, in order, beneath my watch. Her words fell like dew, cooling tempers, quieting Asura pride. Mohini's gaze swept the assembly, divine hands lifting the golden vessel. The scent of eternity filled the air, warm, sweet, endless. Even stars seemed to lean closer, but Swabanu watched, not in awe, but in hunger for understanding. In her beauty, he sensed the faint shimmer of deceit, the balance tipping toward the gods. Quietly, patiently, he planned. The Devas stood in rows, faces bathed in Amrita's light. The Asuras, restless, burned behind restraint. The golden vessel tilted, a single drop touched the sea, turning it to liquid flame. The first sip was given, the song of immortality filling the air. Swabanu cloaked himself in divine glow, edges blurred. He knelt, waiting for the vessel to reach his hands. And the universe held its breath, for eternity was near enough to taste. Seat between sun and moon. The sky hummed as Mohini moved among the gathered gods. Her radiance outshone dawn, her grace the measure of stillness. Each drop of Amrita shimmered like liquid light, and where it touched divine lips, the air rang with soft celestial music. The Devas bowed, reborn in eternity's promise, though even their devotion trembled beneath desire's pull. Surya, the sun, brilliance wrapped in calm. Chandra, the moon, silver and serene. They watched Mohini cradle the golden vessel, the embodiment of balance, beauty, and divine deception masked in serenity. Between their light, something shifted, faint as heat on the horizon. Swabanu took his place, cloaked in their glow, breath measured, presence a perfect illusion. His heart thundered, every beat echoing the rhythm of his deceit. Mohini approached, soundless upon the air. The vessel gleamed, light dancing across faces divine and false. Swabanu lifted his gaze to meet hers. For an instant, the universe hesitated. Vishnu's essence within her flickered, perhaps recognition, perhaps reflection of his own cunning, but she did not pause. The golden cup tilted, nectar flowed, a single drop touched Swabanu's lips. And in that heartbeat, the cosmos changed. It was not warmth he felt, but vastness. His soul flung beyond heaven's edges. The taste of Amrita was infinite, flooding him with creation's pulse, stars' birth, the hush between cycles. He was no longer Swabanu, he was everything that had been or would be. Yet light betrayed him. Surya flared, eyes sharp, Chandra followed, silver glow outlining the false god. Deceiver. Their voices split the air. Mohini's eyes widened, the vessel trembling. Before Swabanu could rise, Vishnu's Sudarshana chakra spun forth, swift, flawless, cutting through time. In a breath, it struck. Light burst, heaven still. Swabanu's eyes opened, realization, not fear. The nectar had done its work. His head did not fall, lifted by the universe's breath. The body below convulsed, unraveling into celestial fire. The head became Rahu, radiant, terrible, eyes burning with memory. The body became Ketu, blazing through the heavens, tracing what was severed. From deception and divine justice, the twins of Eclipse were born, keepers of hunger even gods could not undo. Mohini shimmered back into Vishnu's calm. He gazed at Rahu's head drifting beyond judgment. Even deceit, he murmured, finds its place in eternity's rhythm. The sea settled, waves folding gently. Silence carried the pulse of something eternal. The gods bowed humbled, Asuras watched, awed and fearful. Above, Rahu's new eyes opened, finding his first hunger in the sun and moon. Two halves of forever. Silence lingered after the blade of light passed. The heavens held their breath, unsure whether they had witnessed death or the birth of something new. The sea, once roaring with creation, stilled, its foam glowing faintly, reflecting divine aftermath. Two forms drifted apart, head and body, thought and motion, hunger and flame, yet bound by a thread even gods could not sever. The severed head rose slowly, eyes burning with a mortal fire, neither mortal nor god. The nectar had touched his tongue, eternity pulsed through him. His voice rolled across the sky, I am Rahu. Below, the body trembled. The serpent's coils no longer obeyed its missing will. It tore free from the sea, ascending as a burning trail across the sky, curling into the void. It became Ketu, the tail of the sky, wandering the light it once was. The gods watched in awe. Vishnu's discus slowed, gleaming like the sun's last breath. Even he felt the tremor of the unplanned. Rahu lived, Ketu burned, and between them stretched a hunger that would not fade. Brahma spoke softly, what has been sundered cannot be undone. Their union is broken, yet their purpose endures. Balance lies in their pursuit. His words spread like ripples, and understanding dawned. The Devas bowed, in Rahu's immortality, they saw not victory, but a mirror of their own longing for permanence. The Asuras looked with awe, struck down, yet enduring, defiance woven into existence. Rahu's gaze sought Surya and Chandra, betrayers whose light had exposed him. His hunger was not of flesh or power, but of remembrance, eternal, unfulfilled. Ketu burned behind, a trail of fire, yearning inward, the ache of being divided from oneself. Between them stretched the night sky, vast, serene, alive. Rahu sought light, Ketu traced the void left behind. Stars flickered differently, constellations bent their paths. Time stirred, born from pursuit, separation, and return. Rahu became the devourer of light, Ketu the wanderer of flame, guiding transitions. Their story, born of deceit and divine retribution, would echo through ages, not as thunder, but as the soft hush of the sky forgetting to shine. The serpent that once bound gods and demons now bound time itself, halves tracing eternity, their chase carving the heavens' rhythm. Vishnu gazed, unreadable. Even broken, he murmured, the whole remains. The sea sighed, waves folding gently. Night grew still, stars brightened along Rahu and Ketu's paths. From that night forward, the heavens would never be still. Each eclipse would remember the serpent who drank eternity, two halves drifting across infinity, forever apart, yet forever one. Hunger that darkened the sky. Ages drifted like slow tides. Rahu, radiant and restless, roamed the night. His gaze never left the sun, Surya, or the moon, Chandra, the two lights that had undone him. Across the sky, they glided serenely, but Rahu's hunger followed, unyielding, a hunger no nectar or divinity could still. He surged through the firmament, vast and weightless, a head without a body, a mind without rest. Stars flared and dimmed as he passed, the air trembling with the memory of the ocean where he had been born and sundered. Even the gods felt it, not malice, but the ache of one who had tasted eternity and been cast adrift. He followed the rhythm of sun and moon. Each dawn a reminder light would flee, each night a promise he would chase it again. Within him stirred the pull of Ketu's burning trail, urging convergence, the inevitable meeting of hunger and light. Through the ocean of sky he surged, silent but unstoppable. Stars bent, constellations trembled. His face glowed with terrible majesty, eyes twin eclipses of flame. He fixed on the sun, closer, until radiance seared him. Creation trembled. The heavens cried as day dimmed. Birds fell silent, oceans hushed, fires flickered. Then, silence. Rahu's jaws closed around the sun. For a heartbeat, darkness reigned, still perfect. The wind forgot to move. But eternity does not yield. Rahu had no body to hold what he caught. The sun slipped free, blazing through the heavens once more. From that moment, the heavens bore Rahu's mark. Whenever his hunger rose, he would swallow the light, only for it to escape, a cycle without end, a lesson written upon time itself. The Devas watched in awe. See how vengeance becomes rhythm, anger becomes order. Brahma whispered through the wind. Vishnu softened, seeing pattern in Rahu's fury. Even punishment birthed preservation. The Asuras from shadowed realms watched with pride. Rahu, their kin, had carved defiance into the heavens. Proof that no punishment could still the will to endure. When night came, Rahu turned toward the moon, drifting serene. Again he surged, devouring its glow. Darkness fell like a tide, mortals shuddered, yet the moon slipped free, reborn in silver calm. So continued the chase, swallowing and release, the pulse of vengeance and renewal. The eclipses, written into the bones of the cosmos. Poets would one day tell of serpent and light, gods and hunger. But to Rahu it was no story, it was eternity. The taste of something lost replayed across the sky. In every darkened sun, every vanishing moon, his hunger lived anew, not wrath but remembrance. The yearning of one who had reached for eternity and could never let it go. Circles that measure time. Ages turned like ripples through an eternal sea. Rahu's hunger became rhythm, a pulse by which creation moved. His chase across the sky traced paths even stars began to follow. And from those trails, time itself was born. Each cycle, each eclipse, gave birth to measure. The Devas, who once feared him, now studied his movement with reverence. Each swallow of sun or moon marked the turning of ages, the cadence by which existence counted itself. The sky, once boundless and still, learned order. Months, seasons, years, all traced their rhythm along Rahu's path. Light and dark became the language of time, spoken through eclipses that swept like tides across the firmament. Mortals below looked up, awestruck. They saw not vengeance, but mystery. When daylight dimmed or silver vanished from night, they offered prayers, lit fires, sang to the heavens, each act echoing the divine churning that had first stirred the sea. To the wise, eclipses were no omens of doom. They became markers of harmony, reminders that even chaos had rhythm. Sun priests learned to foretell Rahu's hunger, not to curse it, but to honor it. Far beyond mortal sight, Rahu drifted, his hunger patient, measured, eternal. Not to destroy light, but to touch it, remember it. Each pursuit became prayer, each devouring a remembrance of creation's first motion. Ketu followed, fiery tail tracing faint arcs of light. Where Rahu gave rhythm, Ketu gave wonder. Together, though divided, they shaped the cosmos. Rahu the devourer of time, Ketu the keeper of its silence. So when light dimmed, mortals learned to wait and listen. In the brief darkness, they could feel the world inhale. What began as vengeance had become order. What began as punishment had become peace. From the serpent's divided soul came the heartbeat of eternity, the circle that never ends, the motion that never ceases, the hunger that keeps the heavens alive. When light remembered to return, darkness began to fade, softly, like ink dissolving in water. The world brightened at the edges first, faint streaks of gold trembling along the horizon. Then radiance unfurled, as though the heavens exhaled after a long-held breath. Light returned, shy, tender, forgiving, spilling across mountains, oceans, and the faces of those who had watched in reverent stillness. Rahu drifted into the vastness, his hunger soothed for a moment by the nearness of what he could never hold. The sun blazed free again, and the earth stirred beneath its warmth, as if an old promise had been kept. Time seemed to slow. Mortals looked upward in wonder, their hearts steady. Darkness was not forever, even swallowed light returns. The eclipse had passed, but something remained changed, as if each soul had traveled with Rahu and learned the rhythm of return. The gods watched silently. Vishnu's gaze steady, serene, the faintest smile touching his lips as he whispered, "All things find balance, even hunger, even light." Brahma saw in Rahu's cycle proof of creation, that from every ending, life begins anew. Shiva, in meditation, let the shadow pass, accepting it as another form of peace. Far behind, Ketu's comet-like tail shimmered faintly, separated, yet moving in quiet harmony with Rahu. Where Rahu devoured, Ketu released. Where Rahu reached, Ketu retreated, and the heavens breathed in perpetual rhythm. Mortals learned from this celestial dance, marking the dark days with prayer and the light with song. Building temples where sun and moon met, carving wheels to mirror the heavens, tracking Rahu's invisible path, the serpent who devoured light only to give it back. Generations replaced fear with stories. Grandmothers told that when the sky darkens midday, it is not the end, but a reminder that light rests to be reborn, that even gods must yield before balance. In the stillness after the eclipse, the world feels new. Birds sing again, rivers glint with returning brightness. Rahu drifts through the dusk between stars, not sleeping, but still. Patient, eternal, his hunger woven into the rhythm of the heavens. Waiting, always waiting for the sky to dim again, and the serpent to remember the taste of the sun. The Emperor's celestial race. The origin of the Zodiac. From the Emperor's throne above the clouds came a challenge to all creation. And through the courage and cunning of 12, the heavens learned to measure the passing of years, their names forever written among the stars. When heaven dreamed of time, before dawn had a name, before stars could remember their own light, heaven drifted in endless silence. Clouds floated without aim, and the firmament shimmered without memory. The breath of eternity lingered unmeasured, flowing through the cosmos without rhythm, without heartbeat, without time. Upon a throne carved from living jade, the Jade Emperor sat in solitude. His gaze stretched across creation, through oceans that shone like molten silver, mountains veiled in mist, and rivers that wound through the earth like threads of sleeping light. He saw all that was, yet it moved without purpose. Seasons changed, yet none could count them. The stars sang, yet no song could be remembered. A longing stirred within his boundless heart, not of sadness, but of wonder unmet. He wished to bring harmony to the endless flow, to teach the heavens how to breathe, to give the living world a way to feel its own passage. He rose from his throne, and the sky trembled in his wake. Clouds parted like silk before the wind of his thought. The Emperor lifted his hand, and light poured forth, soft as dawn, radiant as promise. His voice spread through the stillness, vast and gentle. "Let there be a race," he whispered, "a test of spirit and will. Let all creation come forth, that their courage may shape the rhythm of the years. The first 12 to reach my court shall be honored for all eternity. Their names shall guide the turning of time." From his words, messengers were born, beings woven from mist and flame, wings glimmering with dawn's first hue. They swept across the heavens, calling to the world below. Their voices rippled through forest and mountain, through cave and sea, through dream and storm. The tiger lifted its head from its lair, eyes glowing like embers of the sun. The ox turned toward the east, slow and sure as the earth itself. The rat stirred in its hollow, mind racing like a spark. High in the clouds, the dragon coiled, the air shimmering with light where it passed. And one by one, all living things began to move, drawn by a promise older than memory. The wind whispered through leaves, the seas sighed, the stars leaned closer to watch. For though the universe had existed since forever, it was only now, with the Emperor's decree, that time itself began to awaken. The heavens exhaled, and creation took its first step into motion. The race toward destiny had begun to stir in the dreams of all that breathed. The gathering beneath the jade gate. Morning rose like a petal of gold unfurling across the sky, and the world below answered with trembling wonder. The Emperor's decree had crossed mountains and rivers, forests and dreams, and now every creature that drew breath stirred with purpose. From the high peaks where snow touched the stars came the tiger, stripes glinting with frost, eyes like molten suns beneath the morning's veil. Through valleys heavy with dew came the ox, slow and resolute, each step an echo of the earth's ancient heartbeat. The rat darted between shadows of roots and reeds, nimble, curious, its small body alive with restless brilliance. Overhead, the dragon glided on coils of silver mist, its scales casting prisms of color upon the clouds. The rooster crowed from a distant hill, its cry ringing like a crimson banner unfurled against the dawn. From the riverbanks came the snake, silent, graceful, moving as though it were part of the current itself. They came in flocks and herds, in pairs and alone. The proud, the humble, the cunning, the kind, drawn by the same celestial whisper. And when they reached the horizon where the sky kissed the earth, they beheld it, the Jade Gate, a radiant archway suspended among clouds woven of moonlight and breath. Its pillars shimmered with living symbols, characters that flowed like water, each one glowing softly as if alive. Beneath it stretched the celestial river, wide as a valley, gleaming with the light of 10,000 stars. Around the gate gathered beasts of every kind, the graceful horse, mane glimmering like amber fire, the monkey, eyes bright with mischief and curiosity, the goat gentle yet steady, its coat pale as drifting snow. The rabbit stood near the bank, ears twitching as it gazed into the luminous current. The dog wagged its tail, caught between joy and anticipation, while far behind, the pig trotted lazily, snout lifted toward the scent of something delicious carried by the breeze. No creature dared to speak above a whisper, for the air shimmered with divinity. Clouds swirled in patterns too perfect to be wind's doing, and above them all, the Jade Emperor's palace floated like a dream carved from dawn. Its towers rose beyond sight, and its steps glowed with ancient fire. Then came a tremor of sound, a heartbeat through the heavens. The gate began to hum, deep and resonant, its song rippling through every soul present. The Emperor's voice flowed through the air like the first note of time itself. Creatures of my realm, today you shall bring life to eternity. Cross the river, reach my court, and your names shall live among the stars. A hush fell, then one by one, creatures bowed their heads, in reverence, in hope, in courage and fear alike. The water before them shimmered brighter, as if impatient to test them. Wind stirred, clouds rolled, and every living heart waited for the moment when the heavens would cry, "Begin." River of Stars. A breath passed through heaven deep as creation itself. Then came the sound, not thunder, not wind, but something older, vast and knowing. It was the pulse of the Jade Gate opening, the moment when time itself took its first step forward. The Emperor's gaze stretched across the river, and the water shimmered into light. What had once been clear and calm now blazed with a fire of stars. Constellations swirled beneath the surface, galaxies turned like drifting petals, and the reflection of heaven met the breath of the earth. The race had begun. The ox moved first, strong, patient, carrying the weight of the world upon its broad shoulders. Each step broke the current with the grace of mountains, and upon its back, hidden between its horns, clung the rat, small, clever, its whiskers twitching with thought. Together they entered the current, one with strength, one with cunning. Beside them, the cat leapt with perfect poise, paws barely skimming the water's surface. Its eyes gleamed with fierce confidence, knowing it could not fail. But the river had its own will, and beneath the glimmering tide, unseen hands of starlight tugged and turned, whispering destinies yet unwoven. Waves rose like living silk, curling with stardust and moonlight. The rabbit hesitated, ears trembling as it gazed upon the churning glow. The tiger roared, proud and unyielding, its power scattering sprays of light into the air. Each drop that fell returned to the surface as a new star, bright and singing. From above came a ripple of sound, the dragon, vast and radiant, coiling through clouds that glowed with its flame. Its eyes, old as dawn, watched the river with quiet thought. It could win in an instant, yet its gaze lingered upon those below. Something within it stirred, compassion perhaps, or curiosity beyond pride. The dog barked joyfully, splashing into the shallow edge, tail wagging with unrestrained delight. The horse stamped its hooves, the river flashing around it in arcs of silver light, while the goat, monkey, and rooster watched from the bank, whispering plans of teamwork beneath their breaths. Every sound became a symphony. Hooves against water, wings through mist, roars mingling with laughter and cries of effort. The heavens leaned closer, stars holding their glow. Even the moon stilled its drift, waiting to see who would rise first from the glittering storm below. Triumph of wit and water. The river brightened as dawn spilled across the heavens. Light scattered through its waves like handfuls of stars tossed from the emperor's hand. And within that living current, destinies twisted together, shining, colliding, becoming legend before the first year had even begun. The ox pressed forward, its breath calm, its pace unbroken. Water swirled about its legs, turning white and gold beneath the weight of its stride. It carried the rat still upon its back, that small shadow of cleverness hidden between strength and silence. The rat's eyes gleamed with thought, endless, quick, and secret, for within that tiny heart, a plan had already begun to bloom. Beside them, the cat fought the current, its fur soaked, its claws slicing through water that shimmered like moonlight. It trusted the rat's earlier promise, "We shall ride together, we shall cross side by side." But the rat had already turned its gaze toward the far shore, where the emperor's court gleamed like the center of eternity. Waves rose and fell like mountains of light. The tiger surged behind, its roar shaking the river into motion, but even its power could not close the distance between it and the calm persistence of the ox. And above, the dragon circled, scales burning with the color of new suns, watching the mortal struggle below with eyes that saw the threads of fate already weaving. As the ox neared the far bank, the sound of the jade gate filled the air again, that low, eternal hum that marked the crossing between dream and victory. The rat stirred, small paws trembling upon the ox's brow. It saw the glimmer of the emperor's palace just ahead, saw the throne of jade waiting in dawn's embrace. And with a flicker of courage, of cunning, of pure unbridled will, the rat leapt. It soared through the morning mist, small body glowing as it passed through beams of light, droplets scattering around it like fragments of galaxies. It landed upon the far bank with a soft sound, a heartbeat, a ripple, and at that instant, the heavens knew the first name of time. Rat, clever and swift, the beginning of every cycle. The ox arrived a breath later, silent, unresentful, bowing low before the emperor's gaze. The jade emperor's eyes glowed with pride, for strength had carried wit to destiny, and wit had made strength eternal. Behind them came the cat, still fighting the current, its body drenched, its heart burning with disbelief. It called for its companion, its voice sharp and echoing, but the river did not answer. The tide caught it, spun it, carried it backward through glimmering foam until its cries faded into silence. The heavens dimmed for a moment, as if mourning what was lost before it could begin. Upon the shore, the tiger emerged next, fierce, blazing, stripes reflecting the light of creation. It roared toward the heavens, and the sound was so powerful that the river bowed before it. The emperor nodded, granting it the third place in the celestial order. Wings of mercy, flames of honor. The dragon hovered above the river, its long body shimmering with the glow of creation. Scales rippled like waves of molten gold, each movement painting new constellations upon the clouds. Its wings stirred the air into music, a sound not made of wind or flame, but of the very essence of life itself. It had seen the rabbit struggle below, a small figure, fragile and determined, riding the trembling log through a river made of stars. The dragon's heart, vast and ancient, pulsed with compassion. With one breath it exhaled, and from that breath came a gust of wind softer than silk, lifting the rabbit gently forward until it touched the far bank with trembling paws. The dragon could have claimed victory in the next heartbeat, its power unmatched, its flight unbound. Yet it lingered, eyes filled with quiet joy as it watched the rabbit's tiny form safe upon the shore. It smiled, not the smile of triumph, but the smile of one who understands the greater beauty of kindness. When at last it reached the emperor's court, the air trembled with reverence. The other creatures turned their gaze upward as the dragon descended, wings folding like rivers folding into the sea. The Jade Emperor rose, his robe glowing with morning's first light, and his voice flowed through the air like the ringing of a temple bell. "Great One," he said, "you arrived not first, but your heart shines brightest. You gave your wings to another's journey, and in so doing, became the fire that warms the ages. Let the heavens remember, mercy is strength unseen." And so the dragon took its place as the fifth among the 12, its constellation blazing in the eastern sky, forever watching over the gentle and the brave alike. From the distance came another form, sleek and silent, the snake moving through the shallows as if born of the water itself. Unseen, it had wound itself around the mane of the horse, hidden within the river's silver mist. And as the horse galloped near the shore, the snake slipped ahead, claiming the sixth place with a shimmer of scales and a flash of wit. The horse neighed in shock, hooves striking sparks from the stone, yet the emperor laughed, not in mockery but in delight. For in every trick there is a lesson, and in every lesson a story worth keeping. The river calmed as the sun drifted higher, its surface no longer wild but gleaming like silk laid before the throne of the sky. All around, the air shimmered with quiet joy, the echo of triumphs already earned and those yet to come. And still the race continued, not for glory now, but for the beauty of the journey itself. From the heart of the mist came the horse, mane glistening like golden flame, eyes bright with the reflection of 1,000 stars. It had galloped with all the strength of open fields and free wind, its heart fierce yet noble. Though the snake had startled it with its sudden leap to shore, the horse did not rage, for in its spirit lived the wisdom of forgiveness. It lifted its proud head toward the emperor's palace and ran once more, hooves drumming a rhythm older than time itself. The river bent around it like glass beneath fire, shimmering with trails of stardust in its wake. When the horse reached the bank, it stood tall beneath the gaze of the heavens, its breath silver in the air. And the emperor smiled, his voice carried by light and mist. "Strength unbroken, heart untamed, let the horse stand seventh among the stars." Up above, the dragon circled once more, a trail of fire curling through dusk. Its light fell upon the water, and the reflection of its mercy burned there forever, a flame that could never be extinguished. Horns, heads, and hearts. From behind, laughter rippled through the haze, a soft sound bright and playful, like wind dancing through chimes. There came 3 companions upon a raft woven from reeds and drifting dreams, the goat, the monkey, and the rooster, bound together by more than chance. They had not raced as rivals, but as friends who knew that no journey is wasted when shared. It was the goat who first suggested the raft, the monkey who tied its bindings, and the rooster whose wings caught the wind to guide their course. Through waves and wind they moved as one. When the current grew fierce, the goat steadied the raft. When fog blinded them, the monkey climbed high to see the way, and when their spirits waned, the rooster sang songs of dawn to keep their hearts aflame. At last, their raft touched the far shore, gliding gently over the river's luminous breath. They stepped onto the bank, laughing still, soaked in starlight and joy. And the emperor's heart warmed, for in them he saw the quiet beauty of harmony. He spoke, his tone tender as falling rain. To those who know the power of togetherness, I give shared honor. The goat shall be 8th, the monkey 9th, and the rooster 10th. Let your friendship live within the sky, so that all who look upward may remember that laughter too is divine. And so the heavens marked their places among the stars, 3 constellations that would forever shine near one another, forever crossing paths when the years turned round again. The river was nearly still now, but not silent, for from its shallows came a joyful bark, bright as sunlight on water. The dog appeared, drenched and delighted, first shining with the glow of 1,000 tiny stars caught in its wake. It had paused along the way, unable to resist the beauty of the water, splashing, spinning, chasing the reflections of clouds and comets, forgetting for a while the race itself. When at last it reached the shore, tail wagging, heart full, the heavens themselves seemed to laugh with it. The emperor smiled, eyes gleaming with fondness. Loyal friend of all, guardian of joy, you come 11th, not from failure, but from the bliss of wonder, for what is time if not meant to be lived? And so the dog took its place, its constellation shining near the horizon, the first light to rise when dawn comes, the last to fade when night ends. The last step of devotion. Only one remained now, one whose pace was slower than the rest, whose heart beat in rhythms of comfort and ease. The pig, round and content, gazed at the river that had tested the mighty and humbled the swift. The air still shimmered with the laughter of the goat and monkey, the echo of hooves fading beyond the clouds. Yet the pig felt no urgency, no envy, no fear. Only a gentle joy that the race had not ended without it. It took a step and another, sinking its hooves into the cool shimmer of the river's edge. Ripples spread like silver rings beneath the fading light. The sky above had softened to the color of ripe peaches, brushed with gold from the emperor's distant throne. The pig snorted softly, as if savoring the scent of the heavens themselves. Halfway across, it stopped to nibble a fallen fruit that floated beside it. The sweetness filled its senses, the taste of earth meeting sky, and for a moment it forgot the race entirely. It lay upon its side in the gentle current, the water sighing around its form like a cradle. Then, as the stars began to shimmer again, it rose once more, determined in its own quiet way. On the far bank, the emperor watched in amusement, his robes gleaming with constellations unborn. Beside him, the 12 seats of time glowed faintly, one still waiting, patient as eternity itself. And when the pig finally emerged, muddy, cheerful, radiant in its simplicity, the heavens erupted in applause that shook the constellations awake. The Jade Emperor's laughter rolled like thunder across the firmament. He raised his scepter of mist and gold, and declared, his voice soft as dawn, that the pig would mark the 12th and final year, a symbol of plenty, rest, and peace after struggle. As the decree rippled through the skies, each animal bowed in respect, their spirits flickering into radiant silhouettes of light. And thus the race was done. Yet something deeper had begun, for the rhythm of life, effort and ease, haste and patience, had found its balance within the heart of the cosmos. The Celestial Cycle. The Jade Emperor stood before the gathered creatures, his eyes like twin suns reflected upon a still lake. Around him, the sky breathed, vast, waiting, sacred. One by one, he lifted his hand, and from each creature's spirit a trail of fire rose, spiraling upward into the boundless dark. Rat and ox, tiger and rabbit, dragon and snake, horse and goat, monkey and rooster, dog and pig, each transformed into shimmering light that found its place among the stars. The heavens unfolded like a scroll. Upon it, 12 constellations took form, their shapes bright and eternal, bound to the cycles of years that would turn forevermore. Time, once shapeless, now found a voice. Each creature's journey becoming a verse in the great poem of existence. Each breath of the wind carrying their memory across ages yet unborn. Below, the mortal world stirred. Rivers began to rise and fall with rhythm. Flowers opened in patterns unseen before, and the moon, pale and listening, learned how to measure the passing nights. For the first time, the universe understood its own heartbeat. The Emperor lowered his hand, and a hush swept across creation. Stars shimmered like the eyes of newborn time, and the animals, now celestial guardians, watched over the world they had once raced upon. In their endless wheel, joy followed sorrow, day followed night, beginnings folded into endings, and endings gave birth to beginnings again. The 12 shone above, guiding kings and wanderers, poets and dreamers, every soul who ever looked upward seeking meaning in the vastness. They whispered not in words, but in the turning of seasons, in the dance of sun and moon. A reminder that time is not a line but a circle, forever returning, forever alive. And so the race that began in laughter and competition became the measure of all existence. The celestial cycle began to turn, and in its motion, the heavens learned to remember, while mortals, gazing upward, learned to dream. Awakening of the Star. The Heralding of the Heliacal Rising of Sirius. Sopdet, the goddess star, rises in the eastern sky. Her golden light heralds the coming flood of the Nile. The gods watch in silence, and the rhythm of river and heaven begins, renewing life across the land. When Sopdet awakens. Before the first light of dawn, the eastern horizon held a quiet stillness. Then slowly, a brilliant point of golden fire appeared, piercing the night sky with a radiance unlike any other. This was Sopdet, the goddess star, rising to her appointed place among the heavens. Her light spread across the deserts, rivers, and temples, touching every stone and grain of sand with a promise older than memory. Mortals and gods alike sensed her presence, for her ascent had been foretold since time itself began. Sopdet's glow shimmered across the waters of the Nile, reflecting in the gentle ripples and illuminating the reeds along the banks. The river, long subdued by the summer heat, seemed to respond to her presence, as though stirred by the goddess herself. Priests on temple terraces lifted their eyes, arms raised in reverence, recognizing the sacred signal of the Heliacal Rising. They understood, as had generations before them, that the star's ascent heralded the life-giving flood that would renew the land. In the temples, sacred instruments of observation lay ready. Papyrus charts, carved stone markers, and inked records awaited the priest's careful hands. Every motion, every rise of Sopdet above the horizon was measured and noted. Not merely a star, Sopdet was a divine herald, a manifestation of order and renewal, whose appearance aligned heaven and river, guiding all living beings to the rhythm of the cosmos. Villagers along the Nile paused to witness the star's light. Children squinted at the distant glow, elders nodded in quiet recognition, and even the animals seemed to sense the sacredness of the moment. The air carried a faint, unseen energy, a subtle pulse that moved through reeds, along riverbanks, and across the dunes, touching all with the knowledge that life would soon return. As Sopdet climbed steadily, golden against the deepening blue of dawn, the priests recited ancient prayers. They offered gratitude and devotion, not merely for the river's coming, but for the cosmic order that allowed heaven and earth to move together in harmony. The star's presence was a living sign of the gods' care, a signal that the flood, the renewal, and the rhythm of the year were in motion once more. By the time the sun's earliest rays tinged the horizon with pink and gold, Sopdet shone fully, a steady and brilliant beacon. The Nile trembled softly beneath her gaze, hinting at the life that would soon flow through its channels. Mortals watched in awe, the priests in reverence, and the gods in silent acknowledgement. Sopdet had risen, and with her rise, the world remembered the sacred rhythm of river and star. The goddess star had awakened, and the cycle of life she heralded began once more. When gods witnessed the star. High in the heavens, the gods observed the first gleam of Sopdet as she rose above the eastern horizon. Isis, radiant and eternal, lifted her gaze, knowing the significance of the star's ascent. Osiris, lord of life and death, watched silently, sensing the promise of renewal carried in the golden light. Other deities of the sky and river turned their attention, recognizing the sacred rhythm that was about to unfold. Sopdet's brilliance was not mere illumination, it was a divine signal, a herald of the Nile's life-giving flood. The gods understood that her appearance was both a marker of cosmic order and a manifestation of the divine plan. Her light touched the river and the earth, a bridge between heaven and the world below. Each shimmer reflected the harmony of the gods' design, linking celestial and terrestrial realms in a single unbroken flow. From the temple terraces, priests could sense the presence of the divine even before their eyes confirmed it. Their chants rose softly, carried by the wind across the Nile and into the hearts of mortals. The gods' attention reinforced the sacredness of the moment. Soptet's rising was a ritual enacted across heaven itself, and all creation responded in kind. As Soptet climbed higher, her golden rays painted the deserts and waters with light that seemed to pulse with life. Fish stirred in the Nile, reeds bent, and the distant cries of birds carried the rhythm of the heavens into the waking world. The gods' vigilance ensured that every movement of the star aligned with the divine will, guiding the river and the earth to respond to the celestial signal. In the quiet of dawn, the priests and mortals alike felt the magnitude of the event. Soptet was no ordinary star. She was a goddess whose ascent commanded attention, whose presence promised renewal, whose light marked the sacred interplay of sky, river, and life. The gods' acknowledgement confirmed what mortals sensed instinctively: the flood would come, and with it, the continuation of the cosmic order. The sun had yet to rise, but the heavens themselves were alive with the presence of Soptet. The gods watched with reverence, Isis and Osiris attuned to every shimmer, knowing that this single rising would bind heaven and earth, sky and river, in a rhythm that would endure. Soptet's ascent was complete, and the gods bore witness, their silent acknowledgement echoing through the cosmos. The world waited, aware that the Nile's renewal was imminent, guided by the light of the star and the will of the divine. Signal of the flood. As Soptet's light spread across the horizon, the Nile began to stir, its waters sensing the divine presence of the goddess star. In the heavens, the gods watched as her radiance touched the river's surface, signaling that the long-awaited flood was about to commence. The star's ascent was not merely a mark of time, it was a divine announcement, a cosmic decree that life and abundance would return to the land. Priests on temple terraces raised their eyes and their hands, attuned to the sacred signal. Their chants wove through the morning air, calling upon Isis and Osiris to bless the waters as they began to rise. Soptet's brilliance glimmered across the river, reflecting on its gentle ripples and illuminating the reeds and banks with a golden glow. Every observer, mortal and divine alike, understood that the Heliacal Rising was the herald of the Nile's renewal, the embodiment of life-giving order. The gods confirmed the signal with subtle movements of the heavens. Clouds shimmered faintly, birds lifted in reverent flight, and even the desert seemed to exhale, preparing to receive the river's overflow. Soptet's light was steady and unwavering, a divine command that the waters must respond. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the Nile swelled, rising with the inevitability of destiny. Villagers along the riverbanks paused in awe, watching the waters creep over the edges of dry canals and fields. Their hearts were lifted, not with fear, but with reverence, for they knew the goddess star had spoken. The flood would bring fertility, sustenance, and life itself, as it had countless generations before. Every ripple and shimmer of the river reflected the golden light above, a direct link between the heavens and the earth. From temple to riverbank, the world seemed suspended in the harmony of divine order. The rising of Serpent was both signal and witness, guiding the flow of water, the rhythm of life, and the continuation of the sacred cycle. The gods observed, the priests recorded, and mortals waited, all in recognition that the Nile's inundation was a divine act heralded by the star. By mid-morning, the river had begun its sacred rise, the waters slowly filling the channels carved by generations. Serpent shone fully in the sky, the first living proof that heaven and river moved in unison. Her light was a promise kept, a signal of renewal, and a reminder that the cosmic balance, maintained by Isis, Osiris, and the gods, endured. The Heliacal Rising of Serpent had spoken, and the world responded, river and land, gods and mortals, in a rhythm older than memory. Priests observe the miracle. High upon temple terraces, priests lifted their eyes toward the eastern sky, where Serpent now shone in full brilliance. Their hearts recognized the sacred signal, for the Heliacal Rising had come as foretold. With careful precision, they measured her ascent, noting the angles and timing, ensuring the divine rhythm was recorded for all who came after. Every movement of the star was a command, a message from the gods, and the priest's attention honored the celestial order. Papyrus scrolls lay ready, brushes poised, ink prepared. Each priest followed the sacred instructions passed down through generations, recording the rising of Serpent with devotion and care. Their observations were not idle. Through them, the knowledge of heaven and river, star and Nile would endure. The goddess star was not merely a light in the sky. She was a divine presence whose ascent dictated the flow of waters and the balance of life. Chants and offerings rose from the temple, carried on the cool morning breeze. The priests called upon Isis, the mother and guide, and Osiris, Lord of Renewal, to bless the land and confirm the signal. Their voices echoed softly across the riverbanks, blending with the gentle lapping of the waters. In every gesture, in every note, the priests maintained the sacred connection between heaven and earth. From below, villagers noticed the solemnity of the temple rituals. They too understood, through inherited knowledge, that the star's rise was not mere coincidence. It was a moment of divine interaction, a bridge between gods and mortals, marking the coming abundance of the Nile flood. Even animals stirred with subtle recognition, moving near the river's edge, sensing the sacred timing of water and sky. Serpent's light remained steady, reflecting on the polished stone of the temple terraces and the rippling waters below. Every observation, every note, every prayer reinforced the cosmic order. The priests bore witness, ensuring that the star's rising and the river's response were honored in unbroken continuity. Through their care, heaven, river, and mortals were bound together in the sacred rhythm of life. As the morning deepened, the priests continued their vigil, knowing that the star's ascent had set in motion the renewal of the land. The waters began to swell more visibly, and the river responded faithfully to the divine signal. Serpent had risen, the gods had watched, and the priests, through their observation, confirmed that heaven and earth moved together in harmonious rhythm. The miracle of the Heliacal Rising was witnessed, recorded, and revered, ensuring that the sacred cycle of star and river would endure across generations. Nile responds. As Sopdet climbed higher in the eastern sky, her golden light touched the waters of the Nile, and the river began to stir. Slowly at first, the surface shimmered with a faint movement, as though acknowledging the presence of the divine star. The priests and the gods watched, knowing that the Heliacal Rising of Sopdet was a sacred signal, the herald of the annual flood that brought life back to the land. The river swelled with a quiet majesty, filling channels and reaching the fields that had long lain dry under the summer sun. Reeds bent gently beneath the rising waters, and the fish moved closer to the surface, sensing the nourishment carried by the divine flood. Sopdet's brilliance reflected on the flowing currents, connecting sky and river in a luminous bridge that reminded mortals of the god's hand in the world. People gathered along the banks, awe and reverence filling their hearts. They understood that the waters were guided not by chance, but by the ascent of the goddess star, whose appearance had been anticipated for generations. Farmers and fishermen alike paused in their work, honoring the sacred signal, while the priests recited prayers, invoking Isis and Osiris to bless the rising river and the lives it would sustain. The gods, observing from the heavens, saw the Nile respond as it had since time immemorial. Sopdet's light had awakened the waters, and the divine cycle continued, unbroken across centuries. The flow of the river mirrored the ascent of the star, a rhythmic harmony that linked the heavens, the gods, and the mortal world. Every ripple, every surge, was part of the cosmic order, guided by the divine hand of Sopdet. Along the riverbanks, animals moved instinctively, sensing the sacred timing. Birds took flight, calling to one another, while cattle and goats approached the freshened waters. Even the desert, touched by the star's reflection in the river, seemed to awaken as though life itself responded to the rising of the divine star. By midday, the river had risen steadily, its waters coursing across the fields and nourishing the land. Sopdet shone brilliantly above, a constant and unwavering beacon. The priests observed, the gods watched, and mortals marveled. The Heliacal Rising had signaled the flood, fulfilling the sacred rhythm and maintaining the balance of heaven and earth. The Nile moved in obedience to the star, a living reminder that the world was held in harmony by divine order. Sopdet had risen, the waters had responded, and life awaited renewal under the guidance of the goddess star. Life returns to the land. With the waters of the Nile flowing steadily under Sopdet's golden light, life began to return to the land. Fields long parched absorbed the river's abundance, and the soil turned dark and rich beneath the touch of the sacred flood. Plants stirred and grew, their roots drinking deeply, while the reeds along the banks swayed in rhythm with the gentle current, touched by the goddess star's radiance. Fish darted beneath the shimmering surface, their scales catching the sunlight as if the star above had infused the river with life. Birds alighted upon branches and reeds, their songs rising to mingle with the quiet hum of water, celebrating the renewal that Sopdet's rising had foretold. Mortals watched in awe, understanding that the Heliacal Rising was more than a celestial event. It was the divine hand guiding the return of vitality to the earth. Priests moved along the riverbanks, observing the flood and offering prayers of gratitude. Their chants carried across the water, invoking Isis and Osiris to continue blessing the land and all who depended upon it. Each gesture reinforced the sacred connection between the star, the river, and the cycles of life. The priest's devotion ensured that heaven, river, and mortals remained in harmonious rhythm. Everyone began to prepare for the renewed abundance, planting seeds, tending fields, and guiding livestock toward the nourished pastures. The river's gentle swell promised sustenance, and Sopdet's brilliance above reminded them that the gods were watching and guiding the natural order. Every living thing, from the smallest insect to the tallest tree, moved in accordance with the sacred cycle. The gods themselves observed from the heavens, satisfied with the unfolding of the divine plan. Sopdet's light had signaled the flood, and the waters now carried life across the land. The cycle of renewal, maintained by the gods and honored by mortals, continued as it had for countless generations. As evening approached, the golden glow of Sopdet reflected upon the flowing Nile, casting light across villages and fields. Life returned in full measure, a living testament to the sacred rhythm between heaven and earth. The goddess star had fulfilled her role, guiding the waters, nourishing the soil, and restoring balance to the land. The world had awakened once more under the rising of Sopdet, and the cycle of life continued, blessed by the star and the gods who watched over the Nile and its people. Rituals and offerings. As the floodwaters spread across the fertile fields, the priests and people gathered to honor Sopdet and the gods who guided her ascent. In temples along the Nile, incense burned, curling upward like golden streams, carrying prayers to Isis, Osiris, and the goddess star herself. Offerings of bread, grain, and sacred libations were placed upon stone altars, each gesture a tribute to the divine forces that had restored life to the land. The priests chanted sacred hymns, their voices rising and falling in measured rhythm, echoing across courtyards and riverbanks. Every word acknowledged the star's power, the river's response, and the god's hand in maintaining balance. These rituals were not merely ceremonies. They were the acknowledgement that heaven, river, and mortals were intertwined in a continuous sacred order. Villagers participated alongside the priests, presenting gifts, singing songs, and performing gestures learned through generations. Their reverence reflected understanding passed down over centuries, that the Heliacal Rising of Sopdet was a divine event, guiding the Nile's flood and ensuring the renewal of life. Children watched closely, learning the sacred observances that would link them to the gods and the star above. From the heavens, Isis and Osiris observed the rituals, their presence invisible yet felt. Sopdet's brilliance continued to shine, a guiding light over the ceremonies. The gods' approval reinforced the cosmic harmony, reminding mortals that the stars rising, the river swelling, and the blessings of life were inseparable threads in the divine design. Throughout the day, offerings were renewed and chants repeated, sustaining the connection between sky and earth. The priests recorded every movement, every gesture, preserving the sacred knowledge for generations to come. The rituals ensured that the relationship between Sopdet, the Nile, and the people remained unbroken, a continuous cycle of reverence and divine attention. As twilight approached, the golden light of Sopdet began to merge with the rising glow of the sun, casting a gentle brilliance across the temples, river, and fields. The rituals concluded with quiet prayers of gratitude, the smoke of incense drifting across the waters. The gods had been honored, the star acknowledged, and the Nile's gift of life celebrated in perfect harmony. The sacred observances of Sopdit's rising ensured that the cosmic order endured, and that the connection between heaven, river, and mortals would be remembered and renewed year after year. Harmony of star and river. As the floodwaters settled and the fields drank deeply from the Nile, Sopdet began her slow descent from the eastern sky. Her golden light remained steady, a reminder that the rhythm of heaven and river was eternal, recurring with the passage of time. The priests noted her movement carefully, recording the sacred patterns that would guide generations, ensuring that the Heliacal Rising continued to mark the cycle of life. The gods watched from the heavens, satisfied with the fulfillment of the divine plan. Isis, protector of the Nile, and Osiris, lord of renewal, observed the harmony between star and river, knowing that the mortal world had witnessed the sacred connection. The rising of Sopdet had once again signaled the river's bounty, and the order of the cosmos had been reaffirmed. Villagers moved along the riverbanks, tending the newly nourished fields, guiding livestock, and offering quiet thanks. Every gesture of care and labor acknowledged the guidance of the goddess star and the blessing of the floodwaters. The people understood that the cycle was not merely natural, but sacred, maintained by Sopdet and observed by the gods. As days passed, Sopdet disappeared below the horizon, only to be awaited again in the following year. Her absence did not diminish her presence, for her rise had established the rhythm of time, connecting heaven and river in perpetual motion. Mortals, priests, and gods alike recognized that the star's journey was inseparable from the life of the Nile, and that each year the cycle would return, binding them in sacred order. The Nile continued to flow, the land flourished, and the people lived in harmony with the pattern established by Sopdet. Every rising of the star would remind them of the divine rhythm, the eternal covenant between heaven, river, and mortals, and the blessings of life that flowed from the gods. In the quiet nights after the flood, when Sopdet had disappeared from sight, the world remembered her ascent. The cycle endured, a sacred recurring rhythm in which the goddess star, the river, and the gods maintained the order of life. The Heliacal Rising of Sopdet had become a beacon of divine continuity, a signal that life, time, and the heavens themselves moved together in perfect harmony. Thus, the star had risen, the flood had come, and the cycle of heaven and river was forever established.
you.